Military and civilian aviation demand precision, skill, and systems that work flawlessly. But sometimes, in the blink of an eye, a routine flight turns into a life-and-death struggle, and the cameras are rolling when it happens. In this video, we'll look at 5 real crashes from around the world, all caught on camera. Each one tells a different story, from split-second mechanical failures to high-risk maneuvers gone wrong, and each is a stark reminder of how quickly the skies can turn deadly. March 15, 2025, Hainan Island, southern China. During a routine training exercise conducted by the Chinese Navy's Southern Theater Command, a fighter jet identified by local media and independent analysts as a J-15 Flying Shark was on approach near Jialai Town, Linggao County, when it suddenly began descending rapidly. Video from the scene shows the aircraft coming down at low speed with its landing gear deployed, then striking the ground and erupting in flames. Moments before impact, the pilot ejected. The pilot survived without serious injury, and no casualties were reported on the ground. Chinese military officials quickly secured the crash site and announced that an investigation was underway. While the official statement did not specify the exact model or cause, the J-15 is known as China's primary carrier-based fighter, a domestically produced design derived from the Russian Su-33. The incident serves as a reminder of the risks inherent in naval aviation, even far from combat. On the evening of January 31, 2025, tragedy struck in northeast Philadelphia. A Medjet's Learjet 55, operating as an air ambulance, had just departed from northeast Philadelphia Airport, bound for a refueling stop in Missouri before continuing to Tijuana, Mexico. On board were 6 people: a young pediatric patient, her mother, 2 pilots, a doctor, and a paramedic. Just minutes into the flight, the jet was caught on a doorbell camera already in a steep descent. Seconds later, it slammed into a residential neighborhood near Roosevelt Mall, erupting into a massive fireball. The impact destroyed multiple homes and vehicles, setting the area ablaze. All 6 people aboard were killed instantly. On the ground, 2 more lives were lost. One a motorist, the other a resident who later succumbed to injuries. More than 20 others on the ground were hurt, several critically. The National Transportation Safety Board launched an investigation. Wreckage recovery revealed the cockpit voice recorder had not been working for years, and no distress call was made. The cause of the crash remains undetermined, but the violence of the impact and the devastation left behind serve as a grim reminder of how quickly a routine medical mission can turn into disaster. June 22, 2013, Dayton International Airport, Ohio. The crowd gathered for the veteran Dayton Airshow watched as veteran wingwalker Jane Wicker prepared for her signature stunt on the wing of a vintage Boeing Stearman biplane, piloted by Charlie Schwinker. The plan was a low, inverted pass, flying upside down with Wicker positioned on the lower wing, only feet above the runway. Video shows the Stearman entering the inverted pass at very low altitude. Moments later, the aircraft rolled left and began descending with a noticeable left wing low attitude. At this height, there was no room to recover. The biplane struck the ground and exploded into flames, killing both Wicker and Schwinker instantly. Miraculously, no one on the ground was hurt, though the crash occurred close to the spectator area. The National Transportation Safety Board later concluded that the maneuver deviated from the planned routine, resulting in controlled flight into terrain at too low an altitude to avoid impact. Mechanical failure was not identified as a cause. The tragedy shocked the airshow community and underscored the razor-thin margin for error when combining low-altitude aerobatics, inverted flight, and the human element of wing walking. January 9th, 2025. Gastão Madeira State Airport in Ubatuba, São Paulo, Brazil. A Cessna Citation 525 CJ1 Plus registration PR-GFS, was arriving on runway 09 after a flight from Jindi. The runway was wet from recent rain, and due to a 380-meter displaced threshold, the landing distance available was only about 560 meters, far less than the jet's typical stopping requirement. Video shows the aircraft touching down but unable to stop within the available pavement. It overran the end of the runway, broke through the perimeter fence, crossed a road, and came to rest on the beach in flames. The pilot, Paulo Segueto, was killed in the crash. 4 passengers, 2 adults and 2 children from the same family, survived with injuries. On the ground, several people were hurt, including a woman and a child near the fence line. Brazil's SNIPA investigation is examining how the short landing distance, wet conditions, and airport layout contributed to the accident. The case highlights the razor-thin margins at short runway airports, where any excess landing speed or long touchdown can leave no room for recovery. On December 25, 2024, Azerbaijan Airlines Flight J28243, an Embraer 190 with 67 people on board, was operating from Baku to Grozny when the crew attempted 2 approaches into Grozny Airport. During the second approach, cockpit voice recordings captured a sudden sonic boom, followed by the immediate loss of the aircraft's number 3 hydraulic system and a complete freeze of the primary flight controls in the neutral position. With controls severely compromised, the crew decided to divert across the Caspian Sea to Aktau, Kazakhstan, hoping for an emergency landing. Video footage shows the aircraft descending with landing gear down before striking the ground several kilometers short of the runway and erupting into flames. 38 people, including both pilots and a cabin crew member, lost their lives. 29 survived, many with serious injuries. The official preliminary report from Kazakhstan's investigation authority notes evidence of foreign object damage to the airframe before impact. Azerbaijani officials have alleged the aircraft was struck by an air defense missile, but the final cause has yet to be determined, pending the full investigation. This tragedy underscores how a sudden, catastrophic systems failure can leave a flight crew with almost no options, and only minutes to try to save everyone on board. Every crash you've just seen is more than dramatic footage. It's a real event that changed lives forever. Behind every headline are flight crews, passengers, and rescuers facing moments of unimaginable pressure. Aviation has learned from each of these tragedies, but the lessons are written in lives lost and scars that remain. Respect for the risks is what keeps the skies safer for all of us. If you found this video informative, consider subscribing for more fact-based breakdowns of real-world aviation incidents.